Hey folks, this is the Views Express live right here for the 26th of February 2014. I'm going to give a big shout out to Mr. Bob Brutus over at wakingupthemasses.com. Go check him out. Kicking the capstone. Yes, we are here on the 26th of February 2014. We are here talking about, what are we talking about? Defending your life. Now, what are you defending your life from? You're defending your life from those that want to enslave you, those that want to take away your rights, those that want to redistribute wealth. Let me tell it, I'm just going to tell it like it is, folks. We live in a fascist nation. We live in a North American Union. We live with Marxist ideas now because this president is not a president. He's a dictator. And for many years, over 100 years, we have gone to other countries to get rid of dictators. I don't see any country coming here getting rid of ours. Oh, but I see the people behind the scenes doing it economically, doing it academically, doing it philosophically. They're not going to come in with guns blazing. They're going to subvert our society, our freedom, our liberty, our security by incrementally tearing apart the very fabric of the freedom and liberty that we enjoy. And we're not going to know it until it's too late. Well, I know it. I've known it for over 30 years, folks, and I can tell you right now, you better wake your asses up and see what's going on. That's just the way it is. I'm here, as well as Bob Brutus over at wakingupthemasses.com are doing the same thing, helping you understand what's going on behind the scenes. I tear away the veil of secrecy and show you who's pushing the buttons and pulling the handles. And you're still sitting there worried about, concerned with, ogling the stupid Illuminati-funded, backed, and supported entertainment coming out of Hollywood. How many times can you sit around talking about Kim Kardashian's ass? I mean, come on. I remember a few years ago, it was Paris Hilton. She was famous for being famous. Just someone. I don't know, folks. I'm going to forego this break at the 5 after mark because I have a lot to get into. I'll have a lot to talk about, have a lot to say, have a lot of opinions on most of it. But first, go to Free America Radio on Facebook and see the faces of the judicial tyranny. I talked about how people are tearing away at the fabric of freedom in this nation. That would be the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, and these are the people that are doing it. Supreme Court expands police authority in home searches. Go to minorityreportblog.com. TheMinorityReportBlog.com. I got a video up there from A Sheep No More. Bill Hicks, the late Bill Hicks, Illuminati Bloodlines, New World Order. He explains it. PersonalLiberty.com. New NSA docs confirm long-held bloggers' fear. Go check that one out. Psychology, new kind of SIGDEV, how covert agents infiltrate internet to manipulate, deceive, and destroy reputations. So don't tell me this stuff is not real. And don't sit back and call me a conspiracy theorist, because I can tell you right now I'm not. You must be a special kind of stupid if you think I am. I told you in 2013 that I wasn't going to hold anything back, and I'm not. I'm done with stupid people. I agree with a 20th century philosopher, author, who literally said that the only people that can be helped are those that are able to be helped. And the ones that are jacked up on fluoride and GMO foods nowadays and all this and all that, those you just walk away, enjoy your day, grab your beer, flip on a TV, and watch your stupid shows. I'm not going to hold anything back, people, so if you're going to be offended, I will say this. If you're offended by the way I project my frustration, I will apologize. But if you're offended by what I say, no matter how I say it, you better get educated or get some thicker skin. Pathos.com blogs, way to go, Connecticut gun owners. Take a look at Bristol's blog post here from Sarah Palin. Remember when the colonists stood in line to register their muskets? Me neither. Hey, all you folks in Connecticut, thank you very much for standing on the Second Amendment. This is midterm elections. How about voting all of their asses out of office? Every single last one of them, including your city mayors, your county supervisors, your governors, everybody. You gonna come take my guns? Look what happened. Hey, rest of the United States, wake up. Look at Connecticut. Look at what happened. They're going to register their guns. The law says you're going to register your guns or you're going to be charged with a Class D felony. People went up yours and gave you the biggest middle finger that you ever seen in your life. You better back down now, Connecticut politicians and law enforcement, or you're going to have one hell of a war on your hands. Now, I'm not spreading fear. I'm giving you my perspective on what is going on in Connecticut. Now, I know. Some people are going to say, oh, you're for violent uprisings. No, I'm not. I'm for peaceful demonstrations. I'm for civil disobedience. And I recommend and suggest and hopefully encourage those that have bought all kinds of guns in Connecticut to only use them when you have to. Do not aggressively or assertively go out and make sure your politicians know who you are. The greatest threat to a politician's life and career is the ballot box and the voting booth. Remember that. Because locally, when we vote, those matter. But on a national level, doesn't matter at all. They've already selected the people they want. So you better think twice about taking our guns, because I guarantee you, you're not going to have such a good day when it comes to election time. And this is midterm election season, isn't it? So if you want to continue with your handouts from the corporate pimps that you work with, I suggest you rethink all of your policies before you even start projecting what you want done in your areas. From We the People, have had enough on Facebook. When it comes to firearms, a license or a permit only allows, quote unquote, us to own or carry a firearm. The Second Amendment guarantees that we can. We don't need to be allowed to. Therefore, licenses and permits are unconstitutional. Yes, I'm a little frustrated today, folks. Not for any particular reason, but I do want to make this point. We're in a society. We're in a society of people in the United States of America where most of them are now awake and aware of what's going on and what this president is all about. Yay for waking up. But you have a number of people who are expecting this president to hand them everything on a silver platter. Prime example. Social Security, disability. You know, things about Medicaid, Medicare, and all that. If you absolutely, positively need it, I believe you should have it. But if you are in a position in your own life, living in an area where you can at least go work 2 to 3 to 4 hours a day, maybe 3 days a week, why not go do that? And if there are programs in your city like housing or anything like that that is contingent upon your wages that you make, why not go for that? If you're able to, I remember I talked about able people. If you're able to, if you're able to walk 2 or 3 blocks because there's no transportation in your area, and there's a lot of areas in the United States that are like that, but if you can walk 2 or 3 blocks or whatever to the retail store down on the strip mall or down to the other convenience store on the other end of the block or whatever, why aren't you working? I said all that to make a point, and my point is this. People are expecting too much from the government. In other words, they want the minimum wage raised because they want enough money to go out and do the things they want. Okay, Math Class 101 here. When you raise the wages, the products and services, the prices of the products and services have to go up. So raising your wage is not going to matter. You currently go buy, a gallon of milk between the price of $2.49 to $3.49 a gallon. Do you know that if you want a higher wage, they have to raise that price? Well, I want to be able to afford stuff. Well, okay. How about just a fair market living wage per region? I've mentioned that before on the show. Hey, all you number crunchers out there, people that are a hell of a lot more experienced at crunching the numbers than I am, figure that one out. Compare it to the national minimum wage. Compare it to your region. Your region of the United States of America, where the cost of living may be low and prices are high. Or the cost of living might be really high and the price is really low. Who knows? Because I know the generalities. I don't know specifics in the regions of America. So comparatively, what is better? A fair market living wage per region or a national minimum wage of $10.10 an hour? Think about that one. And you number crunchers out there, send me that information. I want to know. I want to know. Free America Radio, at unseen.is if you want to send it there. If you're on the Spreaker side of things, you can just send it to that email address there. Or if you're listening on the website at freeamericaradio.us, you can send it to that email address there. I want to know the numbers. I've figured them out in my head. I've put them down on paper. And I'm not going to give everybody the silver platter answer, but I want you, the number crunchers out there, to send me that information so I can share it on the show, on a following episode. All in all, doesn't matter how much money you make an hour, everything has to go up to accommodate for that. That's logic. Okay? That's just common sense logic. So it doesn't matter how much money you make. Well, why not? Okay, how about doing this? A fair market living wage per region in the form of a monthly salary instead of wages, per hour wages. How about that? You number crunchers out there, send me that information. Send it to me. You got 3 ways of contacting me. If you're listening on Spreaker, send it to the email address there. If you're listening to me on the website and the podcast, send your information to the email link there. Or you can send it to Free America Radio at unseen.is. Free America Radio at unseen.is. Free America Radio is going to the next level because we have to. All this stuff that's going on around the world, specifically in our country right now, is devastating us on all levels. Out here just the other day, a day before yesterday, they, out here in the Naval Air Station, Fallon Naval Air Station out here near Reno, Nevada, they had drills, and they had every scenario that you can possibly think of. A suicide bomber, a sniper, and somebody else I can't remember offhand, but you can go look it up. Fallon Naval Air Station, Fallon NAS drill. Go to startpage.com, punch that in there. Free America Radio Network is going to the next level. We need your help. Go to freeamericaradio.us, check it out, and do what you can do. That's all. I'm going to give a big shout out to Mr. Nick Tucker, Distorted Reality Network. Distorted Reality Radio, Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on Facebook, distortedreality.podbean.com. Also, Bob Brutus over at Waking Up the Masses with his show Kicking the Capstone. Also, who else? Oh, a whole bunch of people. I want to give a big shout out to Mr. Pete Santilli over at the Guerrilla Media Network. So, just big shout out, virtual high five. There you go. Support alternative media because of the fact that the state-run mainstream media sucks and they lie through their teeth. I did a half-hour live show today. I was supposed to do the Wayne S. Pierce show at noon, but busy doing other things. So I only did a half-hour mini episode. So go check that out if you would. I don't know, folks. I mean, how is it that we can sit back and enjoy our football, baseball, auto racing, and all of that, and get so excited about that when we don't get excited about defending our country against the tyrants out of Washington, D.C.? I don't get it, folks. I just don't get it. Seriously. Email me, freeamericaradio at unseen.is. Freeamericaradio at unseen.is. Photography is an art form, and Adventures in Photography shows you all of the forms of art there is in our world. Spencer Hughes captures the colors and works of natural art in his book, Adventures in Photography. For more information, go to SpencerHughesPhotography.com. What is reality? The foundation of reality is based on many concepts. Each person perceives reality differently. In the book, The Grid by Marie D. Jones and Larry Flaxman, they explore the hidden infrastructure of reality. Get your copy today at Barnes & Noble and Amazon.com. The Grid by Marie D. Jones and Larry Flaxman. Sharing the truth, one fact at a time. Defending liberty and freedom. Fighting the New World Order. This is the Free America Radio Network. This is the Free America Radio Network right here on Spreaker.com and on freeamericaradio.us. Thank you very much for being here on this 26th day of February 2014. Hey, to all you patriotic, liberty-loving, freedom-minded people, I'm sharing the truth one fact at a time. Does that mean I know it all? No, not at all. Not at all. I'd be bored because there wouldn't be anything else to learn. So you're a big part you're a big part in the information gathering that I do. Okay? I mean, I find stuff all over the place. I'm finding, video clips and articles all on Facebook from all sorts of patriotic Facebook pages, and go to Reuters, go to InfoWars, go to sheepnomore.net. I go all over the place. Washington Post, Washington Times, USA Today, Fox News. I go all over the place. And for whatever bullcrap reason that these state-run media outlets like Fox and CNN and MSNBC all want to give you, I basically tear away at the veil and show you who's pushing the buttons and pulling the handles. That's what this show is all about. Tomorrow, for a little while, I got to confirm the email, but tomorrow or Friday, more than anything, Friday, I may have a guest, and I will tell you about that guest when the time gets closer. Tomorrow, hopefully, I'll have another guest on, but more about that later as well. And I'll put it up on Free America Radio on Facebook and up on the main feed to let everyone know. Huffington Post, Supreme Court makes big decision on when cops can enter your home. In other words, just like the other article I gave you a headline for, Supreme Court expands police authority in home searches. Same thing, and that's from the Minority Report blog.com. So, there you go. Now, also from 21stCenturyWire.com, tracking and charging Trans-Texas Corridor, NAFTA, Superhighway Control Grid underway. Okay? Let's go with that one, 21stCenturyWire.com. There's a lot of things that you have to understand, people. You have to understand one very valuable piece of information when you wake up in the morning, and that's basically you woke up. Well, let's take the next step and go out and view what's going on, whether you're at work and you got your coworker there or you got your office buddy or whatever, in your cubicle. You've got to see what's going on. And specifically, why. Your friends are probably going to think that you're nuts and that you should be wearing a tinfoil hat, but in the last 6 months to at least a couple of years, I have found that most people who call me a conspiracy theorist usually turn around and are speechless when they find out that what I've said was going to happen and is happening, happens. they're usually just speechless. They look at me going, I don't want to talk about it. No, it's not that you don't want to talk about it. It's that you don't want to admit you were wrong. So you have to look at everything. When you wake up in the morning and go to work, you have to examine everything. 21stCenturyWire.com, tracking and charging. Trans-Texas Corridor NAFTA Superhighway Control Grid underway. This was put up 2 days ago, February 24th, 2014. And it says this: most people still think that due to public pressure, Texas Governor Rick Perry had abandoned the controversial Trans-Texas Corridor NAFTA Superhighway project. That was true. However, as Aaron Dykes of Truth Stream Media finds out, the infrastructure and control grids have been quietly continued behind the scenes. And in true globalist fascist fashion, American roads are being handed over to foreign companies. Drivers will not be given the option. They will be forced to drive and pay on a new fascist highway system in the U.S. The EU is similarly pushing an identical system in tandem to NAFTA's scheme, an EU scheme where bikers will even be forced to pay via RFID. Another fly in the ointment, the ubiquitous technology they're using, as we recently discovered in New York State, the car transponders that the corporate state are trying to mandate for all drivers to use RFID chip technology. And by the way, we just went to San Francisco a couple of weeks ago, a little vacation getaway, and on the buses to cross the Bay Bridge and the Golden Gate Bridge, they had to have transponders. Now, that's probably totally different than this, but continuing, one concerned New York citizen did an independent analysis on the many ways his car using New York's Easy Pass could be tracked, and discovered that he was being tracked and his data traceable in unexpected places, far and away from any toll road barriers. Known under the pseudonym of Puking Monkey, he drove around New York City only to find that his transponder became active multiple times in a short drive from Times Square to Madison Square Garden in Midtown Manhattan. Now, for the NAFTA bombshell. There's videos up here. You can get them on YouTube. But in this specific article, there's a minute and a half video there. And right below it says, now for the NAFTA bombshell. Private interest in inhibiting free travel on public roads paid for by taxpayers. True Stream Media. The overlapping control grid of the Trans-Texas Corridor, NAFTA Superhighway, and Agenda 21 urban redevelopment in the Texas Triangle, reference America2050.org, is taking over public roadways and directing human behavior. There's a video there as well. This emerging reality hit home a short while back when traveling to Lockhart, a quaint small town famous for its barbecue, just a bit over a half hour from Austin on Highway 183, which is now displaced for some 10 to 12 miles by a toll road, SH-130, which lies east of Austin down to San Antonio. It was only once it was too late that the writer here says that I realized I was even on a toll road, figuring out that it was now impossible to travel directly to Lockhart without paying tolls. The warnings that public roads were being taken over by private, Spain-based, let me read that again, the warnings that public roads were being taken over by private, Spain-based interests that helped derail the Trans-Texas Corridor super project have now come to pass, and other sections are being phased in as well in the quickly changing landscape in the Austin area. Highway 290 that goes eastbound to Elgin is partially a toll road as well, despite allegations that it violates civil rights. And I-35 north of Fort Worth is being developed into a toll road, with plans to eventually force all I-35 traffic, one of the most important and heavily traveled roads in the U.S., to pay tolls. To add insult to injury, Texas toll roads do not have toll booth operators, thus no Texan jobs. And drivers must either get an RFID transponder tracking device to pay the bill or pay by mail at a rate that costs 1/3 more. Why? Texas Tollways claims, quote, toll rates for people who pay by mail are 1/3 more than for drivers with toll tags to offset the costs related to processing license plate information, unquote. Read more about the NAFTA superhighway takeover plan via Jerome Corsi, author of Late Great USA, NAFTA and the North American Union and the Threat of the Coming Merger with Mexico and Canada, and senior writer for WorldNet Daily, who warned that the dead superhighway scheme is back. And the writer here says, as I previously wrote, the RFID transponders are about tracking more than toll payments. They are used by law enforcement and government agencies to monitor innocent citizens accused of no crime while logging detailed movements in a database. Many toll road systems now use tracking devices for pay authorization, and they have also been used by police to catch criminals. From the beginning, these transponders were designed as a payment collection system as well as a tracking system. Here's a link to the patent proving that intention. Quote, open road cashless toll collection system and method using transponders and cameras to track vehicles, unquote. Adding further insult to injury, states like Texas do not hire toll booth operators, refuse to take cash, and require drivers to adopt transponders or pay much higher rates via mail after photographing license plates and auto-mailing a bill to the registered address for payment. The story is from Truth Stream Media, and posted on 21stcenturywire.com. Bottom line is, folks, you're being tracked. That's just the bottom line. That's it. Done. You're being tracked. We live in a fascist nation. They want to know where you're at all times, everywhere, all the time, even in your home through the smart meter technology you have on your house. Okay? I'm done with it. What about you? What about you? Are you so sick and tired of this bullcrap that you're just sitting there going, well, there's nothing we can do about it. There's football. Are you going to be that stupid just to sit there and let this stuff happen? Or are you going to be like the people in Belgium and in Europe and in Spain and in all these other countries that hundreds of thousands of people are getting out in the street and protesting? They're shutting down traffic to protest their corrupt government. That's what they're doing, and we need to take a lesson from them. We are the greatest nation in the world, and we're going to sit here and let this happen to us? We're going to sit here and let this happen to us? Now, granted, I do not condone violent action against this country until they fire the first shot, period. But we get out there with civil disobedience, with signs. We get hundreds, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people in the streets, stopping traffic, making it known that we are very pissed off at what's going on. And if we can't do that, folks, we have lost. Well, we've lost already because they're taking it from you. It's like me walking into your house, looking at you and just saying, hi, how you doing? Walking into your kitchen and start taking all your food. start making sandwiches for myself and the people out in the street using your food that you paid for. Yeah. It's like that, folks. It's like that. I get done making the sandwiches using your food that you paid for. I'll take your keys and go for a ride and deliver these sandwiches out to other people and then not give you any money. Okay, this is the kind of crap that we're putting up with from Washington, D.C. They're stealing everything from us. Yeah, because when you don't pay for it, that's called stealing. But then we have to turn around and pay exorbitant taxes every year, both corporate and personal, for them to continue to do that to us. What kind of bullcrap are you putting up with? I'm done with stupid people. I'll say it again. I'm done with stupid people. You don't like it? I don't care. I'm done with stupid people. Now, I've looked around and I've heard shows on Spreaker and other shows on other networks, and I can tell you right now, people are pissed. And people call in, and I've heard these call-in shows. And people are like, well, you know, if they do this... No. Everybody that I've heard call into these shows has said one thing. We have to contact our representatives and make them do something. No, because they're not doing anything, folks. They're not doing a thing. Okay? Midterm elections, we need to take over there's 500, correct me if I'm wrong, there's 535 congressmen and women up there in Washington, D.C. And about 450 to 500 of them are on, their political careers are on the line in the midterm elections. Let's make sure we change it all. There's over, what is it, the official... The state-run media numbers for unemployment is what, 10 or 12 million? When the facts come out from behind the scenes that over 90 million people are unemployed, hell, I'm sure out of those 90 million people, there's some people that know how to do things. We can put them in Washington, D.C. I will say this. It's coming up May 16th. American Spring. Get to Washington, D.C. and do what you have to do. Because that's all you got, folks. That is all you got. As you can tell, stupid phone is ringing. Hello. Sorry about that. I apologize. Matter of fact, I need some more tea. So, yes, I'm drinking tea, folks. I'm not drinking coffee right now. So I'm drinking tea. So let me take my break a couple of minutes early, and I shall return in a couple of minutes.
Listen to Angel Clark Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Radio Freedom News Network. RadioFreedom.us.
Time to take our republic back, folks. Brian Bonner, the Uncooperative Radio Show host, will tell you how. Join us for the ride of your life. Using humor and the facts, we will expose the news that the mainstream media refuses to report. The Constitution is the solution, and we can prove it. Listen in and find out what it means to be an uncooperative citizen of these United States. You can find our show at uncooperativerradio.com, and we are rebroadcast on redstatetalkradio.com.
What's on your mind? Chances are it's on their mind too. Check out Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show. Friday evenings at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern. Only on Spreaker.com.
For the best Southern, classic, and new rock, along with kicking country and R&B, check out Wildcat Radio for the Friday night party. The fun begins at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, with local, state, and national news from the Alabama News Network at the top and bottom of every hour. It's Wildcat Radio's Friday Night Party, a division of the Vulcan Internet Broadcast Company.
No elitist dribble, no media spin. Logic over emotion, fact over fiction. The home of independent conservative thought. The Conservative Voice with your host, Jeff Wagner, only on the Conservative Radio Network.
It's Spencer Hughes from The Spencer Hughes Show on Spreaker.com, and you're listening to The Views Expressed Live.
Sharing the truth, one fact at a time. Defending liberty and freedom. Fighting the New World Order. This is the Free America Radio Network. Yes, it is. Hi, welcome back. This is your host, Reverend Wayne S. Pierce, right here for the Free America Radio Network, broadcasting live behind enemy lines in FEMA Region 9 in the biggest little city in the world, Reno, Nevada. How y'all doing today? It's the 26th of February, 2014. I don't know, folks. Trying to get comfortable in my chair here. Sorry about that. I don't know. We have a country on the brink, very brink, looking over into the abyss of total and absolute collapse. My question is, are you really seriously going to let this happen? Because I don't see any other way of getting this country back into fiscal, philosophical, and academic health without doing something. Seriously. I really think that we have to do something. Okay? We have to do something. The odd thing is that there's there are a lot of people who think, well, I don't know if I'm going to do something because, well, I don't want to risk getting arrested. I'll let somebody else do it, and then I'll go and see what happens there, and I'll go be with them, and then if something happens, I'm going to go and run. Sorry, I'm typing. So anyway. There are too many, well, like I said, folks, I'm not going to hold back. There's too many wussified pussies out there that don't want to stand up for anything. And I seriously, I seriously think that people do have the heart and soul of a fighter and a warrior, and when their livelihood, their families are threatened, oh yeah, unleash the beast. You know what I'm saying? Because you guys are going to defend your family and your country and your county and your cities and states with everything you have. But then there are those out there who would rather, just get whatever, right? You're out there just hoping that you can get whatever you want from the government for free. It's not for free, folks. You people who think it's for free, you better think again. Listen to my voice. I pay for it. You don't. It's not free. It's free to you because you ain't got to pull out of your lint-filled pocket any money. But you see, all that's going to come to an end. Because we are facing a huge and massive collapse. And I really think that a lot of people can and are able to stand up and really people really have to do something. And I'm sure that you're able to do it. I'm sure that you're capable of doing it. I'm sure that what you want is within your grasp. But enough preaching. Free America Radio on Facebook. Free America Radio on Facebook. Go to the link that says Psychology, the new kind of SIG dev. I don't know what the hell that means. From firstlook.org, how covert agents infiltrate the internet to manipulate, deceive, and destroy reputations. Glenn Greenwald. Thank you, Glenn. One of the many pressing stories that remains to be told from the Snowden archive is how Western intelligence agencies are attempting to manipulate and control online discourse with extreme tactics of deception and reputation destruction. It's time to tell a chunk of that story, complete with the relevant documents. Over the last several weeks, Glenn wrote, I worked with NBC News to publish a series of articles about dirty trick tactics used by GCHQ's previously secret unit, JTRIG, J-T-R-I-G, Joint Threat Research Intelligence Group. These were based on 4 classified GCHQ, that's out of England, by the way, folks, documents presented to the NSA and the other 3 partners in the English-speaking Five Eyes Alliance. Today, we at The Intercept are publishing another JTRIG document in full entitled The Art of Deception, Training for Online Covert Operations. And it goes down the list, folks. It goes down the list. Among the core self-identified purposes, of JTRIG are 2 tactics. This is what they do. 1, to inject all sorts of false material onto the internet in order to destroy the reputation of its targets. And 2, to use social sciences and other techniques to manipulate online discourse and activism to generate outcomes it considers desirable. Problem, reaction, solution. By the way, I was listening to the Glenn Beck program on his site at theblaze.com, the show that he has at 2 o'clock Pacific, 5 Eastern, and he was literally saying that he before never believed in false flag events, in anything of that nature, and he literally had to come to the realization that this happens. Okay? I don't care what you think about Glenn Beck. I don't care what you think about Alex Jones. I don't care what you think about Pete Santilli or me or Nick Tucker or Brian Keller. We're right. You're wrong. You're going to sit there in your own little cubicle, your own little deluded world from preconceived ideas and think that everything's just fine and you deserve the government to give you everything you want. Well, wake up to reality, folks. That ain't going to happen. Now, to continue here, to see how extremist these programs are, just consider the tactics they boast of using to achieve these ends, quote, false flag operations. In parentheses, it says posting material to the internet and falsely attributing it to someone else. Fake victim blogs pretending to be a victim of the individual whose reputation they want to destroy, and posting quote-unquote negative information on various forums. Glenn Beck said that he's had that done many times. So has Alex Jones, so has Michael Savage, so has a whole bunch of people. And I can guarantee you that anybody that says that I'm a conspiracy theorist is going to be absolutely and utterly 100% wrong. Okay? It continues. Here is one illustration or illustrative list of tactics from the latest GCHQ document we're publishing today. This is Glenn Greenwald saying that. The thing here says disruption, operational playbook. There's 7 bullet points. Infiltration operation, ruse operation, set piece operation, false flag operation, false rescue operation, disruption operation, and sting operation. Other tactics aimed at individuals are listed here under the revealing title, Discredit a Target. There's 4 bullet points that say, set up a honey trap. Yeah, set up a honey trap. Change their photos on social networking sites. People hack into your Facebook page, take your photos and everything that you have, go to somebody else and pretend that they're you. Well, guess what? That's got to stop. And that can stop. Excuse me. It says here, write a blog purporting to be one of their victims, or email, text their colleagues, neighbors, friends, etc. In other words, yeah, go to your friends and family, go get in between them, and they'll tell them just how bad you are, or make them believe that they are you, and, you know, that kind of thing. Then there are tactics used to destroy companies and the agency targets. Leak confidential information to companies, the press via blogs, etc. Post negative information on appropriate forums. Stop deals, ruin business relationships. GCHQ describes the purpose of JTRIG, or JTRIG, in starkly clear terms, quote, using online techniques to make something happen in the real or cyber world, unquote, including, quote, information ops or influence or disruption, unquote. Effects definition. Bullet point number 1, quote, using online techniques to make something happen in real or cyber world. Bullet point number 2, 2 broad categories. 1, information ops, influence or disruption, and 2, technical disruption. Hacking into your computer, folks. Number 3, known in GCH as online covert action. And number 4, the 4 Ds, deny, disrupt, degrade, and deceive. How many people out there have had denial of service on their YouTube accounts, or totally had their YouTube accounts taken down, or their websites? Critically, there's a long list of stuff here, folks, and I'll just read this last one here. Well, it's not last. There's a whole list after this as well. Critically, the quote-unquote targets for this deceit and reputation destruction extend far beyond the customary roster of normal spycraft, hostile nations and their leaders, military agencies, and intelligence services. In fact, the discussion of many of these techniques occurs in the context of using them in lieu of quote-unquote traditional law enforcement against people suspect but not charged or convicted of ordinary crimes, or more broadly still, quote-unquote hacktivism, meaning those who use online protest activity for political ends. The title page of one of the documents reflects the agency's own awareness that it is, quote-unquote, pushing the boundaries by using cyber offensive techniques against people who have nothing to do with terrorism or national security threats, and indeed centrally involves law enforcement agents who investigate ordinary crimes. Okay? Now, that is on Free America Radio Facebook page. Scroll on down. It's from Amber Lyon as well on Facebook, but it's from firstlook.org. Okay? A related article from personalliberty.com is very appropriate, because the facts are the facts, folks. And I don't care what side of the aisle you're on politically. You're a freaking human being in a country that is supposed to be united and supposed to be for freedom and liberty. And you're sitting there bitching and moaning about, I get offended when people are this and that. And, and you get all butthurt over what Governor Jan Brewer should be doing in Arizona against, whatever. She's going to sign this bill into law that is strengthening the laws that protect people from discrimination, but people have turned it around and said, oh, it's anti-gay, it's a discrimination, it's going after gays and blah, blah, blah. No, it's not, jackass. Okay? So shut the hell up if you don't have anything to say. If you don't know anything about anything, don't say anything, because every time you open your mouth, you're a fool. I'm talking to those stupid people out there that think that I'm a conspiracy theorist, that think that everything that I say is wrong. Well, I'm done with you. I'm done. Bye-bye. Have a nice day. Enjoy. Go make up your own show. Go talk about whatever you want. I don't care. Because you're stupid. Go away. Bye. Yeah, I'm not going to pull any punches, folks. I might lose listeners. I might lose a few people. They might unfollow me. But I tell the truth, and I'm in your face. And I literally tell people, you ain't got nothing. Because you're afraid to admit when you're wrong. And when I talk about you, or, I don't specify a person, I'm just saying you in general. And stupid people, there's a lot out there. Bye-bye, have a nice day. Enjoy your sports channels. From PersonalLiberty.com, new NSA docs confirm long-held bloggers' fears there are government trolls among us. The internet has provided a forum of average people throughout the world to disseminate, share, and debate information attenuated by gatekeepers in the mainstream media and their politically connected friends. New media outlets like Personal Liberty Digest have for years been warning readers that the well-connected and ruling elite, displeased by this newfound proletariat freedom, have been prolific in attempts to undermine and marginalize information provided by any media outlet unwilling to obey the same unspoken rules that govern the content choices of major media outlets. No thanks to the efforts of the National Security Agency whistleblower Edward Snowden and journalist Glenn Greenwald, readers no longer have to take the word of paranoid bloggers who relate tales of paid government trolls lurking in comment sections and other concentrated top-down efforts to muddy the information provided by alternative media. On his The Intercept blog this week, Greenwald provides documents from Snowden's NSA cache, which however you want to pronounce it, which provide a look at some of the tactics employed by the British Government Communications Headquarters. That's the GCHQ I talked about a little while ago. A spy agency that has been shown to have a close working relationship with the American spy agency. Okay? Seriously, folks. Seriously. Are you serious about defending your freedoms? Are you serious about defending your freedoms? Then you need to really investigate what's going on. I'm not going to give you the silver platter answer to everything. I'm giving you guidance. I'm showing you where to go. Most of the stuff I've read so far has links in it that you can click on. Hello? The teacher in your history class never gave you the answer, and I sure as hell ain't going to do it myself. Your math teacher didn't give you the answer to the equation you were trying to figure out, did she? No, you had to figure it out, huh? Well, go figure it out. The MinorityReportBlog.com writes, Supreme Court expands police authority in home searches. After the top of the hour break, I will come back and read that for you. In the meantime, if you're listening to me on freeamericaradio.us, please check out the site. Help Free America Radio Network get to the next level if you can. Check out the shops. Check it all out, folks, because whatever you purchase on that site helps. Trust me, It helps Free America Radio Network get to the next level. I'm strictly on the internet at this point, and from time to time I'm on 1610 AM on the micro broadcasting side, but for more information about that, go contact Bob Brutus at wakingupthemasses.com. He'll give you all the answers that you seek in that regard. And in the meantime, folks, in 5 minutes and 15 seconds, I shall return. Hang out with me right here on the Free America Radio Network. This is The Views Express Live.
Late Night in the Midlands is an alternative media that covers the truth, theory, and fact that the mainstream media won't talk about. We cover everything from the known and the unknown, the normal and the paranormal, the government lies and the government ties, and even their thrive. We tell what's coming, what's going, whether it be politics or archaeologists. We have an amazing fan base, and our shows are all archived to be heard millions of times more. So tell your friends, your family, and anybody you care about LateNightInTheMidlands.com. Become a member and be informed.
Get your morning started with the Morning Brew on 92.6 The Blitz. Music from the 60s, 70s, and more. The Blitz 92.6. Go to radiorocktheblitz.blogspot.com.
Free Talk Live.
You give someone an ounce of liberty and they'll go around abusing it and harming everyone else with it.
If we legalize guns...
People will be shooting people everywhere.
Right.
If you legalize prostitution, people will be having sex on the street corners. If you legalize drugs, we'll have heroin vending machines in the streets. We've heard it all on Free Talk Live. They take it to the most absurd, illogical extremes, and you're absolutely right, Alexander. It's okay for them to have freedom.
Yeah, you can give them a gun. They won't go around shooting people. But watch out with their neighbor, because you give them a gun, they'll go around in a rampage around the city, killing everyone.
But yes, they can be trusted, and apparently the government can be trusted too, because magically, we only elect the best of the best, the cream of the crop. The bureaucrats that are administering these programs are the upper echelon of society, the most trustworthy individuals.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes when I squint, I swear I can see a halo above their heads.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Are you tired of the mainstream media? The media that is so biased, you wouldn't even let your dog listen to it? Well, there's an answer. Angel Club.
On RadioFreedom.us.
Just listen to her fans.
One hell of a writer. I've read a considerable amount of her articles and quite impressed.
Until Angel, my life was void of meaning.
I want to thank you for saving my goldfish from drowning.
I love Angel Clark's honesty and her down-to-earth concern about the people.
She is very dedicated.
Angel, we need you.
This Angel's a sexy woman. I think she's going to go places, but I don't know where.
Ladies and gentlemen, she does a good job.
If it wasn't for Angel,
you saved his life, and I will be indebted to you forever. SussexCountyAngel.com.
Be a part of Angel's Army.
Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. on RadioFreedom.us.
Free Talk Live.
Do you guys have a zombie plan? I'm just wondering what this country's going to do if we had some sort of apocalypse like that.
Like a zombie attack.
Do?
People coming out of the ground, like in Thriller, like in Michael Jackson's
like 28
Thriller.
days later, like a virus or something.
Oh, okay.
I mean, people don't come back to life.
Well, no, there are different kinds of zombies out there.
Now,
but let me go through the types of zombies. I mean, you've got the ones that can crawl out of the ground, right? And then she was talking about like an infection kind of zombie, like a la Resident Evil, for instance. So ideally, if you're going to have to perish at the hands of a zombie, which would be the preference? Would you prefer to have your brains eaten, or would you prefer to become one of them?
I think I'd rather just die. The last thing I'd want is, of course, the people you split up with. Then I'm talking my wife and my child. I'm coming back. I'm wanting to eat Laura's brains. It's bad. It's bad.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. What does freedom mean? Tune in to LRN.FM to find out. LRN.FM is the Liberty Radio Network, a collection of live talk radio and podcasts, all coming from a principled pro-liberty perspective. LRN.FM show hosts aren't left, right, or conspiracy kooks. You can tune in 24/7 to LRN.FM via your phone, computer, satellite, and more. Listen free anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Hey folks, this is the Views Expressed live right here on the Free America Radio Network. How you doing? I'm Reverend Wayne S. Pierce, broadcasting live from behind enemy lines in FEMA Region 9. From the biggest little city in the world, Reno, Nevada. What other city can say that about itself? The biggest little city in the world. Yes. If you've ever been to Reno, Nevada, you know what I mean. If you haven't, you ain't missing nothing. Or should I say you ain't missing much. How y'all doing today? It's the 26th of February, 2014. Yay, we are here for another episode. It's Hump Day. It's Wednesday. Go to Free America Radio Network. I'm going to talk about what the Supreme Court's up to. Free America Radio Network on Facebook, if you would. If you're listening to the show on freeamericaradio.us, just go to your Facebook page, go to Free America Radio, and there it is. From the MinorityReportBlog.com, Supreme Court expands police authority in home searches. Washington, police officers may enter and search a home without a warrant as long as one occupant consents, even if another resident has previously objected, the Supreme Court ruled Tuesday in Los Angeles case. The 6-3 ruling, triggered by the Los Angeles Department arrest in 2009, gives authorities more leeway to search homes without obtaining a warrant, even when there is no emergency. I just want that to sink in for a minute, folks. The majority, led by Justice Samuel A. Alito Jr., said police need to take the time to get a magistrate's approval before entering a home in such cases. But dissenters, led by Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, warned that the decision would erode protections against the warrantless home searches. The court had previously held that such protections were at the quote-unquote very core of the Fourth Amendment, and its ban on unreasonable searches and seizures. The case began when LAPD officers responded to reports of a street robbery near Venice Boulevard and Magnolia Avenue. They pursued a suspect to an apartment building, heard shouting inside a unit, and knocked on the door. Roxanne Rojas opened the door, but her boyfriend, Walter Fernandez, told officers they could not enter without a warrant. Quote, "You don't have the right to come in here. I know my rights," unquote. Fernandez shouted from inside the apartment, according to court records. Fernandez was arrested in connection with the street robbery and taken away. An hour later, police returned and searched his apartment, this time with Rojas's consent. They found a shotgun and gang-related material. In Tuesday's decision, the High Court said Fernandez did not have the right to prevent the search of his apartment once he was gone and Rojas had consented. Well, isn't that quite lovely, folks? Isn't that lovely? The Fourth Amendment, or parts of the Fourth Amendment, are totally thrown out the door. Okay? We have a Constitution and a Bill of Rights of the United States of America. Our founding fathers, the people that put together all of this stuff and all these ideals and concepts and workable solutions, and ratified that thing December 15th, 1791, knew that stuff like this was going to happen. This is why they had to put 10 amendments in the Constitution. They knew this was going to happen. By the way, we only need maybe 15 amendments. Because when you read most of them after 10, they're kind of, not kind of, some of them are repeating what the other one was or doing away. Well, if doing away with another amendment, well, if they did away with the other amendment, get rid of it. You know what I mean? There only needs to be about 15 amendments to the Constitution, period. And by the way, the Constitution is the rule of law. Don't let anybody say anything different to you. It is the rule of law. Every single state constitution, which I believe needs to be thrown out, but that's just me and my opinion. Every state constitution has to align itself specifically with the Constitution of the United States of America, period. I mean, that's just it. Now, you're probably wondering, well, why did you say that no states need a constitution? Well, it's real simple. It's called common sense. Can we just use the rule of law from a constitution in Washington, D.C. to be the rule of law over all the states? Well, it is already to a point, is it not? But states are different and people want other things, and I've heard the argument that, well, what one state has as far as laws, differ from another state because they're separate. Yes, hello, they're incorporated since 1925, I think it was. Yeah, we don't live in a United States of America, folks, under constitutional law. We live in a United States of America incorporated under corporate law. Go check it out. 1871, 1925, 1933. Just keep on going, folks. You'll find it. Bottom line, folks, is this. The Supreme Court cannot, even though they do, cannot interpret the law in a way that will benefit a particular political party. This is against the law. They do it anyway because you and I let them get away with it. Okay? They have to be unbiased. Why do you think there's 9 Supreme Court justices and not 10? There always has to be that extra, there always has to be that one that will make the final decision. Okay? Why do you think there are 12 jurors in a courtroom and the final jurist is the judge? I've read some court documents. I've read, situations where the jury and I've heard it personally myself, where the jury finds the person guilty, but the judge goes, "No, I'm going to override the whole jury. No, I don't see this person guilty at all. I'm looking at the information. I don't see that." He's the final word in the court. Okay? So why do I think that there shouldn't be state constitutions? It's real simple. It's common sense. If your parents raised you right, you wouldn't be the jackass that you are. If your parents raised you right, you'd be the person that would be upstanding and not, hardly do anything wrong. Not that we're perfect. I'm sure, something would go wrong. Well, you want a Shangri-La. You want a utopian society. No, I don't. I want common sense and rationality to rule. But I want people to understand that they themselves personally have the opportunity to worship and believe the way they want. I'm not going to get churchy here. I'm just going to tell you that we have our own perspective on how things should be. Mine is, let's just let the country collapse. Let's rebuild it of, by, and for the people on the rule of law of the Constitution of the United States, and allow each state to mirror that Constitution. I believe this whole thing, and I said all that because I believe this whole thing with Arizona and companies, they say, now the critics are saying that it bans gays from, certain areas and all. No, it doesn't. What it does is it strengthens the anti-discrimination laws that are already there. So these jackasses, these critics that don't know what they're talking about can go off and... Yeah, I was going to say something, but I'll be nice. That's what it does. Let's put it this way. Here's another part of this, and this is goes in line with states need to revamp their state constitutions. The whole thing needs to collapse, and we need to rebuild it, basically, is what we need to do. We've done it before, by the way. We're a very resilient country. We've done that before. We need to kick the bankers out. We need to kick the politicians into the jails. We need to throw these foreign corporate bastards out of the country. We need to get them out, and then we need to revamp this country to make it stronger, more viable, and more productive. Period. End of sentence. We need to bring all the companies that left under NAFTA and GATT and any other trade, policies that we had. Need to bring them back to the U.S. and put people back to work, period. That's what they need to do, okay? Are they going to do it? Not without us screaming really loud. Not with us getting on their doors in the state capitals and in the nation's capital and banging on the doors and telling them tell them that we want in and we need changes now. I mean, it's not going to happen without somebody going and actually doing this. But here's the bottom line. We have a country that is on the brink of collapse. We need to rebuild it of, by, and for the people. We need to stop all this bull crap about, we need to put this issue about same-sex marriage into the Supreme Court. Excuse me, isn't that a church thing? Excuse me, isn't that a civil thing? It's not. It should not ever and never should have been politicized. Well, Washington and Colorado have passed laws that decriminalize and legalize marijuana, but the federal government still believes and still has laws against it, and so it's against the law to have it. Excuse me? Has the federal government ever heard of the 10th Amendment? Oh, really? Yeah, okay. Just wondering. I'm just curious, that's all. So here's my view on this. Just those two things. Let people marry who they want. Over 18, consenting adults. Let them marry who they want. And let's decriminalize and legalize marijuana throughout the whole country. How's that? Oh, that's not going to work. No, of course it's not going to work. You know why? Because the DEA wouldn't get their budgets every year, and the courts wouldn't get their payments every time they arrest a drug user with marijuana or pull somebody over who's, got marijuana in their car. They wouldn't get their payments and their little tributes to their, religious institution called the courthouse. I mean, it's all about the money, folks. It's all about the money. Okay? It's all about the money. It will never, ever, ever, ever get to the point where another country did this. Instead of making all drugs a criminal type of situation, it's a crime to have these drugs, they turned around, legalized all their drugs, and turned it into a health situation where now there's not a whole lot of money being poured into the court systems except for the real crimes that are happening. To me, possessing marijuana is a victimless crime. Growing marijuana in your own home is a victimless crime. On the other shoe, you've got same-sex marriage. It's not hurting me any. Go for it. Not hurting me any. Go for it. It's just kind of weird to see. It's kind of uncomfortable at times. But you know what? That's me. That's not you. Let's just legalize all these what's the word for it? You got prescription drugs, and then you have the non-prescription drugs and all this, and most of them, it's all that. Well, let me go to this extreme on the other side of that scale. If the United States says that it's against the law to have drugs, illegal and illicit drugs, or to grow marijuana, or to distribute it, or to make money off of that, or whatever, then why doesn't the government just bring in the military, go through all these metropolitan neighborhoods, metropolis is like L.A. and Chicago, New York and all. Why don't they just bring the military in and just go and wipe all those drug dealers out? Because that would literally be the epitome of the war on drugs. But for the past 40 years since Nixon's administration, since there's been a war on drugs, drug addiction has gone up dramatically. And drug crimes and the fines, the payments, the tributes to the court systems from these quote-unquote victimless criminals has skyrocketed. In other words, it's about the money. That's why they want to keep it illegal. But what would happen on the opposite end of that scale if you just took all the drugs like marijuana and all this and cocaine? Did you know that marijuana and cocaine were not illegal? Or cocaine specifically was not illegal until about the late 1950s, early 1960s? Did you know that? I could be wrong in that year, but yeah. And did you know that when you go to the dentist and they shoot you up with lidocaine or lidocaine, whatever it is, do you know what that is? That's liquid cocaine. What do you think Novocaine is? Okay. Think about it, folks. You take marijuana and all those types of drugs in that, the legal drugs like marijuana, all that in that category, you just legalize them all, make it a health problem, and guess what? Crime will drop dramatically. And the damn drug dealers are going to have to figure out what else to sell to us, to the U.S. I don't do drugs. I've been clean and sober for 26 years. But I'm going to tell you this right now. I understand why the federal government wants to keep it illegal. Cha-ching. It's all about the Benjamins. Have you seen your county sheriff's bus lately? Or when I was living in Stockton, I saw the San Joaquin County bus. And I went on the bus. I saw the bus. Nice bus. Man, is it awesome on the inside of that thing. And I asked him, hey, where'd you get the money to get this? And he goes, well, most of the money came from seizures, drug seizures. I said, oh, the taxpayers kind of kicked in a little bit? Yeah, a little bit, not much. Now, I've heard horror stories where sheriffs and police and all that have confiscated all the money and all the drugs and all the property, everything. And have stolen it from the system to take it home for themselves. I've heard that. And obviously those cops were arrested, so, and thrown in jail for, tampering with evidence or whatever it was. Why am I saying all this? It's real simple, folks. We need to pay attention to what's going on. We need to hold true to our own moral values. We cannot allow the court system to legislate morality from the bench. And here, look at that right there. Free America Radio on Facebook, the minorityreportblog.com. Supreme Court expands police authority in home searches. We have to put them on notice and say, no, I have a Fourth Amendment right, period. You're not coming in this house even with my consent. That's just the way it is. Well, we'll get a warrant. Well, you can get a warrant all you want. Shove it in the mailbox right there, because I ain't taking it. Then we can come into your house, not without my consent. I did not consent or sign my name to that warrant. Therefore, you do not have my consent. I've seen people, well, when I say seen, I've read different articles and different stories about people who have been confronted by police at their front door with a warrant, and the people just close the door, and the police come in and whatever, and it's like, they knock down the door, they come in, they don't find anything, they tear the whole house up, and their house is a mess, and then they leave, and they didn't find anything. See, anybody, if that's happened to anybody, I hope to hell that these people have gone to the city attorneys and sued them for everything they have. Well, look what happened to the late Rodney King. He got beat. And he won twice, as a matter of fact. He sued the city of L.A. and won twice. But he blew all his money. But the city had to pay him, because they violated his civil rights. And now the Supreme Court says that you can, it is not you can film the police. The Supreme Court said you can film the police. Go look it up. Go look it up. Startpage.com, Supreme Court decision, filming police. In the last several weeks and several months, you've seen the articles where people have filmed police doing their job. They weren't even near the police doing their job. And the police saw that somebody was filming them, went over and arrested them, beat them up. Some were killed. And the camera was taken. We live in a thug society, folks, because the law enforcement absolutely can do whatever they want under DHS policies. And the federal court system is just sitting there going, well, yeah. Again, folks, I'm done with stupid people. I'm not going to deal with them anymore. And there's about 500 of them in Washington, D.C. that absolutely don't know their head from a hole in the ground. Walking around the chambers trying to figure out how they can scam you for every penny you have. And then they have to please their bosses at the Trilateral Commission, the Council on Foreign Relations, the Bilderberg Group. They got it, they have bosses, folks, and it ain't us. I don't know, folks. I mean, I can only say from my perspective what I would do. I'm nonviolent, more civil disobedience than anything else. I don't get up in people's faces on the street. But if you attack me verbally, physically, whatever, game on, folks. It's like, I have to do what I have to do to defend myself, and I'll do whatever I can by any means necessary to do so. But I will not go out aggressively or assertively and get up in a cop's face and say, yes, your employers are shipping in the drugs. No, I'm not going to do that. That's just freaking insane. I don't want to do that. But if they get up in my face and start treating me like crap, oh, yep. I hope somebody's filming it, because I'm going to sue them for everything they have. And some have been arrested. I've seen stories in the last few days where cops have literally killed somebody in their custody. And a couple of days ago, I saw an article where a woman was beat up, and those cops that did that were fired, arrested, and put in jail. And that's where these thug cops need to be, in jail. So the good cops better start doing their job and protecting the rest of us. If not, we'll take matters in our own hands.
Sarasota's home for R&B and soul. The Razor Blade Express with Dave the Rave.
What's that moving in the shadows? Claranormal Talk Radio with your host, Steve Hembry, right here on RadioKahuna.com. Sharing the truth, one fact at a time. Defending liberty and freedom. Fighting the New World Order. This is the Free America Radio Network. Hey folks, welcome back, yes. Yes. This is the Free America Radio Network, freeamericaradio.us, Free America Radio at unseen.is. freeamericaradio.us is the website. Free America Radio at unseen.is is the email address. Go to the website, check out the store, buy some Liberty and Freedom Network merchandise. That helps Free America Radio Network get to the next level. All of the proceeds go back to help the network. I get zip, folks. Taking the Free America Radio Network to the next level, and that's what we're doing. Go over to wakingupthemasses.com and email Bob Brutus and thank him for putting my show on his network. Tomorrow, hopefully, cross my fingers, hopefully I'll have a guest. Hopefully it'll be Nick Tucker from Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on Facebook and distortedreality.podbean.com. Hopefully. And on Friday, hopefully I'll have another guest. Hopefully. All depends. I haven't got confirmation yet, but hopefully I'll have another guest. So, once I get confirmation, I will tell you who that is. You can go to freeamericaradio.us, go to the store, and if you want to advertise on Free America Radio Network, please email me at freeamericaradio@unseen.is. That's freeamericaradio@unseen.is. I want to say this to some of my listeners that listen to my other shows as well. We haven't had the Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show on in several months. We haven't had the Unnamed Show on in several months because we've just been really busy. You know, and so I want to apologize for the extended hiatus on those other shows. We've got to get back to doing those shows. The Unnamed Show is usually on Sundays at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, with my host, Reverend Laura Clemens, and we talk about anything under the sun. and Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show, which I am the other host of that show, of course. We talk about everything under the sun, and we definitely have to do a show at some point because I think you guys miss us. So, anyway, if you have any questions, yes, if you have any questions, concerns, or anything that you want to say, please, email me. I'll pass it on. Email me, freeamericaradio@unseen.is, freeamericaradio@unseen.is. And, it's... you see, folks, just so much going on. Just so much going on. Again, if you have any questions, no question is off limits. Ask me anything you like. If I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know. freeamericaradio@unseen.is. freeamericaradio@unseen.is.
Hey there, I'm Big Tiny, and I'm the host of Big Tiny's Oldies and More. And we're playing music that you just love to hear from the 50s to the 90s. So check us out Monday through Friday and see what we're playing right here on Spreaker.com.
Free Talk Live.
When you call a government bureaucracy, more often than not, the person who you talk to will not know the answer to your question, but they'll tell you they think they know who the person is that has the answer, and they will pass the buck to that other person, and if they happen to pick up the phone, they'll usually pass on the buck, or you'll leave a voicemail and never hear back from anybody.
Right. I mean, I wasn't being rude at the PSA at all. The third person I talked to, she was getting pretty hot under the collar. It's like, what are you being so angry for? I'm just asking regular questions any person would.
Well, she's probably upset that she had to pick up her phone and talk to one of the little peons like you.
She's probably annoyed at her underlings who actually gave you her phone number and let you get through to her.
Yeah, that's probably the case. She just wants to play solitaire, and you interrupted her game, or she just wants to surf on the internet, and you just ruined her day.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Join the National Down Syndrome Society's My Great Story campaign
to honor and celebrate the amazing stories of the 400,000 Americans with Down syndrome.
If you have Down syndrome, tell us about your achievements, dreams, and aspirations.
If you know someone who has Down syndrome, tell us how they've inspired you.
Visit ndss.org/stories to share your great story.
Hey, folks, welcome back. If I can talk, welcome back. You have to move the lips and work the tongue, and words come out and you make sense. Anyway, folks, how you doing? This is the Liberty and Freedom, excuse me. You can go to freeamericaradio.us, go to the store, and purchase Liberty and Freedom Network merchandise to help out Free America Radio Network get to the next level. That's what I meant to say. You ever have one of those days where nothing works? Okay, I'm just curious. Anyway, you can also go to freeamericaradio.us, go to the just check out the site, man, because I got the podcasts up there. I've got just a bunch of stuff. Check it out, man. If you want to advertise for the Free America Radio Network or on the Free America Radio Network, please contact me, freeamericaradio@unseen.is. freeamericaradio@unseen.is. It's what can we do, folks? I mean, how does one go about changing their environment? I'm kind of curious. How does one go about changing their environment? Here we are, we're in a very volatile environment in the United States of America. We're about ready to collapse. I mean, it's just a matter of time. It's not a matter of if, it's going to. I mean, that's just the way it is. Now, I'm not spreading fear, and I know some people are going to try to debunk that, but look at the numbers. Just look at the numbers, folks. Look at all the numbers. Look at everything. Look at the employment numbers. Look at how many people have been laid off, blah, blah, blah. Just look at every single... You number crunchers out there know what I'm talking about. And if you have information you want to share and help me out understand all this stuff, please help me. I am, asking. Free America Radio at unseen.is. Free America Radio at unseen.is. TheGuardian.com. Go to Free America Radio on Facebook and check out the article with Ray Kurzweil. Are the robots about to rise? Google's new director of engineering thinks so. By the way, two of the main people from Google were on Glenn Beck's show yesterday, and my goodness, that's making liberals do flips. They didn't answer too many questions in depth, but they answered questions in a way that only they could. From TheGuardian.com, are robots about to rise? Google's new director of engineering thinks so. Ray Kurzweil popularized the Terminator-like moment he called the singularity, where an artificial intelligence overtakes human thinking. And by now, the man who hopes to be immortal is involved in the very same quest on behalf of the tech behemoth. It's hard to know where to start with Ray Kurzweil, with the fact that he takes 150 pills a day and is intravenously injected on a weekly basis with a dizzying list of vitamins, dietary supplements, and substances that sound about as scientifically effective as face cream, coenzyme G10, and whatever words I cannot pronounce. If you can't pronounce it, why are you putting it in your body? When with the fact that he believes that he has a good chance of living forever, he just has to stay alive long enough to be around for when the great life-extending technologies kick in. He's 66, and he believes that, quote, some of the baby boomers will make it, though, unquote, make it through, unquote. Or with the fact that he predicted that in 15 years' time, computers are going to trump people, that they will be smarter than we are, not just better at doing sums, than us, and knowing what the best route is to Basildon, whatever, I don't know. They already do. But that they will be able to understand what we say, learn from experience, crack jokes, tell stories, flirt. Ray Kurzweil believes that by 2029, computers will be able to do all the things that humans do, only better. But then everyone's allowed their theories. It's just that Kurzweil's theories have a habit of coming true, and while he's been a successful technologist and entrepreneur and invented devices that have changed our world, the first flatbed scanner, the computer that could recognize a typeface, the first text-to-speech synthesizer, and dozens more, and has been an important and influential advocate of artificial intelligence and what it will mean, he has also always been a lone voice in, if not quite a wilderness, than in something other than the mainstream. By the way, you see those keyboards that musicians use that say Kurzweil? Yeah, that's him. Same guy. And now he works for Google. Ray Kurzweil, who believes that we can live forever and that computers will gain what looks like, let me say that again because this is very, very important. Keep this in mind. Ray Kurzweil, who believes that we can live forever and that computers will gain what looks like a a lot like consciousness, in a little over a decade, is now Google's director of engineering. The announcement of this last year was extraordinary enough to people who work with tech or who are interested in tech and who are familiar with the idea that Kurzweil has popularized of the singularity, the moment in the future when men and machines will supposedly converge, and know him as either a brilliant maverick and visionary futurist or a narcissistic crackpot obsessed with longevity. This was headline news in itself. It's a long article, folks. It's pretty lengthy, and I really don't have time to read the rest. You might want to check it out. It's from Carol Cadwalader, I believe that's what it is, from The Observer. So what do you think? I mean, seriously, what do you think? I mean, has the idea of living forever ever crossed your mind? Has the idea of living beyond this body ever crossed your mind? Well, if you go to www.2045.com, you'll get a good look at what these futurists are talking about. Now, it's far from being science fiction, but it's still in the realm, I believe, of plausibility. Can we, I mean, you know, when you look at Japan, for instance, when you look at the technology that's over there that we taught them, by the way, after World War II, and we bombed the crap out of them twice, they have prosthetics that look like real hands, okay? I mean, seriously. The skeletal makeup of these prosthetics look like your skeleton. And doctors in the U.S. and Europe have grown literal tissue in the lab. They can grow through stem cell technology and bioengineering new parts. Okay? Yeah. Why do you know a veteran that still has that little hook, you know, that separates at the end? Why are people still having that? Why not put the actual arm on the person? Why not make this skeletal arm, attach it, make sure it works, and then grow the skin and all the nerves and everything that go in there? Why not? I'll tell you why. It's not profitable. It's not profitable. Have you seen the videos and the pictures of the veterans that come back and have prosthetics put on that are like the legs, you know, and the feet that look like paddles and stuff like that? Have you seen that? Why not? We have the technology to do what we need to do to extend the life of these veterans. Why not? You know? But then again, as I said, it's not profitable. Who's going to pay to put a realistic looking prosthetic on somebody who's lost an arm or a leg? Or the camera technology has gotten so much better than it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, that now they can put little cameras in these fake eyes, but they can also make that electronic as well. The whole eye socket. Yeah, I know, $6 million man. That wasn't far from the truth, folks. Kind of embellished because it's Hollywood, but it wasn't far from the truth. I sat in my high school auditorium listening to a scientist who was from NASA who showed us that opening scene to the $6 million man. You guys are old enough to remember that? If not, go to YouTube. Look up opening $6 million man. The NASA person that told us when I was in high school said that the person in that little shuttle type thing broke a couple of ribs and broke his legs. And that's it. He was fine 6 weeks later. He was out of the hospital. He was, in the cast, and there you go. He was fine. But we can do that. We have the technology. We can rebuild him. So why not? Why does everything have to be based on profit? Why does everything have to be based on profit? I read that article about the Supreme Court giving more power to the local law enforcement to go in your home without your consent, violating the Fourth Amendment. I talked about a lot of stuff today, but it boils down to this: you get stopped on the road, cop takes you in, you get fined, you got to pay the fine to the court, you get an attorney, blah, 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 you got to pay that. It's all about the money. It's all about how much they can take from you. And they're going to regulate it to the point where you have to give it to them. You'll have no choice. So this is why, and I've talked to some people they're much more intelligent about this stuff than I am, that have said, literally, we need to take the profit out of everything. We need to get rid of all monies, all ways of profiting off of something. Now, my question to him was, how is a store like JCPenney's or how are stores going to stay open? How is anybody going to stay in business if there isn't a profit? He goes, the market works itself out. The market can work itself out. Several years ago, back early 2000s, my thought was, I was sitting with a friend of mine, and and we were talking. We were looking at stuff on the internet, and because we were in a play at the time, or he was assistant director of a play that I was in, and we were looking on the internet for all this stuff and plays, and he was thinking on opening a theater and stuff at the time, and all that, and for some reason the subject came up of, there's going to come a point when you're not going to have real money in your pocket. And I believe at some point we discussed money that is digital. This is back in the early 2000s, I correct myself, the late 1990s. And here it is. But now look at this. Bitcoin, or crypto cyber currency, is now going to be regulated by Wall Street. Now it's time to rebel. Now it's time to stand up and say, no, I don't want Wall Street in my back pocket. I don't want Wall Street on my street in America. I don't want them. They are the ones that put us in this financial disaster that we're in, $17 trillion worth. Why the hell do you want them to control your crypto cyber currency? No. It's time to rebel. It's time to rebel. Civil disobedience, signs out in the street, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, out in the streets demanding change, demanding these politicians you voted into office because you thought they were going to be good. You demand that they resign within 48 hours. If not, you stay out there until they do. This is what's happening on May 16th with American Spring in Washington, D.C. If you're anywhere near Washington, D.C. on May 16th, I want to hear from you. I want you to let me know if you're there, and I will have you on the show. I will put you on the show. You can Skype me, you email me, I'll give you that information, and I'll put you on the show, and you tell me what's going on there. If you have video, that's awesome. If you have video, put it live on YouTube. I have a live account as well at YouTube. Put it live on YouTube. The thing is that we have to take back America. And when we take back America, we need to tell all these politicians that we thought were working for us. We need to tell them, you see that big old building and that big old complex over there? That's called a prison. That's where you're going because you committed crimes against humanity and you're treasonous against the Constitution and the Bill of Rights of the United States of America. Go now. And if you don't, we'll take you there. That's just the way it is, folks. Do you think the people... Go to Free America Radio on Facebook. It says, way to go, Connecticut gun owners. Take a look at Bristol's. That's Sarah Palin's daughter. From Pathos.com. Remember when the colonists stood in line to register their muskets? Me neither. Folks, we have to do it. We have to do it. It's not a matter of, oh, well, you know, if I do, I might get arrested or beat up by a cop, and I don't want to do that. 'Cause, Do you think your father or grandfather who went in the military ever thought of the risk that they were taking by going in? Do you have a thought at all as to 1861 and the people that were basically conscripted, drafted into the Civil War ever thought about the risk? Oh, I'm sure they did, but they also had patriotism to think about. They also understood that the southern states that wanted to secede weren't going to. Because the president of the United States, Abraham Lincoln, said, no, it ain't going to happen. The southern president, Confederate president, Jefferson Davis went, piss off. We're going to do it anyway, and guess who lost? It was the South. It wasn't about slavery. That was the one thing that caused the catalyst between the North and the South. But real history, when you get rid of all that bull crap out of the way, it was about secession. It was about southern states seceding from the rest of the Union. And President Lincoln went, not going to happen. Well, it's time that we have a secessionist movement. Oh, wait, there already is. It's time that we have the militias stand up on our side. We the people. Oh, wait, they already are. It's time that we have returning veterans and law enforcement stand up with we the people. And, oh, they are, aren't they? 70 to 80% of them. So you better realize what side of the fence you're on and stop sitting in the middle. Because I guarantee you, when the crap hits the fan, If you're in my way, you're not going to have a good day. So I'm going to defend this country, and I'm going to defend my county, my city, my state from enemies foreign and domestic. And if that means the tyrannical government in Washington, D.C. that currently resides there, then that's what I'm going to do. In the meantime, folks, I'm getting out of here. Catch me tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on Free America Radio Network on Spreaker.com. We, the people, have the power, for we are America.